Hello again, my little Koopas, Goombas, and Paratroopas. I'm your host with the most Mega Drive 20XX, and of course with me as always is Thrav Ronde.
Yo.
And you, my friends, have stumbled upon World 9-4, where history and retro video games crash together into a beautiful array of knowledge to bestow upon you, the listener. So turn that TV to channel 3, plug in at 120 volts or a 240 volts for you European listeners, and play. Tonight, we will discuss the one genre of video games that literally only lurks within the darkest alleys, highways, dojos, and of course the streets of rage, if I may say so myself. The Brawler, which is by far the oldest of the arcade genre, next to space shooters and action adventures. So many were made, and they all had the same premise, which was beat the crap out of anything that moves while trying to save the world, the President of the United States, a friend from a previous game sequel, the mayor's daughter, or a girlfriend from an evil organization that happens to be the biggest clan or gang in Tokyo. Or the city that's badly named, like Metro City, so to speak, the city that never sleeps and purposely looks like downtown Hong Kong on a Friday night. Pretty much a really, really low-budget Jackie Chan movie with some really awesome action scenes. This game genre made it okay to use any weapon we found on the ground, like whips, chains, bats, wooden crates, knives, lead pipes, maybe a stick of dynamite. I mean, anything to take out a horde of creepy-looking, bright-colored 80s punk rockers that are, like, in your way. By the way, pink mohawks for the win. Quarter-munching machines like these popped up around the 80s and carried into the late 90s. To name a few for the fans to spark up some memories, Irem's Kung Fu Master, or a.k.a. Kung Fu on the NES, comes to mind. Capcom's Final Fight, Data East, Bad Dudes vs. the Ninja Dragons, Sega's Streets of Rage, Konami's Teenage Mutant Turtles, the arcade game, and of course Techno's famous franchise, Double Dragon, which spawned 3 sequels and 3 spin-off games. Remember, guys, Trade West, a.k.a. Rare, to this very day, made Double Dragon a household name thanks to the NES, yet it was Technos invented the beloved series. If I didn't mention others, remember, I still love the ones I missed, like Rival Turf and Combat Tribes on Super NES. Sure, they were bad, but they were actually pretty good. Burning Fight on Neo Geo, another spin-off, low budget but pretty good, and not to mention Alien Storm on the Sega Genesis. Yet, I swear, these games made it okay to eat an apple or a turkey or a piece of ham or even a can of Coca-Cola just laying on the side of the road underneath a barrel, a box, or oddly a telephone booth. Why in the world would energy for your character be laying around under these nasty things? Yet we just jump for joy, eat it, and get back to the fight. How cool is that? Okay, seriously, it's disgusting, but hey, it was the 80s, and macho video games were the next biggest craze next to Rambo, G.I. Joe, and Conan. Oh, speaking of Conan, I can't go on without mentioning Sega's Golden Axe series. Picture, barbarians, Valkyries, and dwarves who like wailing ass and casting spells like as a brawler. I'm definitely sold. But however, I will not rest until someone ports over Golden Axe 2, The Revenge of Death Adder. The real sequel to the Brawler was never seen again. Well, on a side note, any video game that has The Revenge as a subtitle means someone was butthurt over an issue and they are super pissed now, which also means this game will rock your socks off. For example, Double Dragon 2, The Revenge. Need I say more? So, sure, the Xbox Live and the PS Network is getting Konami's legendary 6-player X-Men, the arcade from 1992 next year, but where's my Golden Axe 2? Don't tell me there is one, because the Genesis has been lying to us. Well, sorry to call the Genesis a liar. It was really Sega's fault for not being able to port this massive game on their system at the time. Now, the home consoles did create their own brawlers to get a piece of the pie in the late 80s, and one I love to point out is known throughout the land, but has been disappeared with the sands of time. Trade West and Rare's Gem, I'm talking about the trio of kickassery, with the names that are forever disgusting, Rash, Zit, and Pimple, the Battletoads. Still the most difficult video game in history, and any NES fan knows it by heart, next to the Double Dragon. These Super Toads mean serious business. Not on NES, but also on the Genesis, Game Boy, and the Sega Game Gear. So good that it spawned a crossover game on the NES, Genesis, and Super Nintendo entitled Battletoads Double Dragon, the Ultimate Team, which is chock full of badassery. Double Dragon influenced so much for the brawler genre that to even go into the role-playing elements, which we did kind of discuss earlier with Techno's River City Ransom. This concept for the 80s was quite unique, that being able to level up a character like a Final Fantasy game, but still maintaining the street fighting element is a nice twist. You'll also notice a similar element was borrowed in the NES version of Double Dragon, because when you look on the bottom of the screen of the little tiny hearts, each level you gain, you learn a new attack, like maybe a Chuck Norris roundhouse kick, or a sneak attack with your elbow. We here at World 94 have to say, as much retro as all this sounds, it's still alive and kicking, literally. These past 3 years, we've seen quite a few. Today, they are remembered very well and still appear once in a while, or sometimes lost treasures, like Batman, the Bold and the Brave on Nintendo Wii, is actually a brawler to be exact, just like the classic Batman games, and a really good one in fact. Or let's take Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the video game on Xbox Live or PS Network, or PlayStation Network, is a clone of a Technos brawler by the same name, River City Ransom. Which, well, if you think about it, the whole manga series was a giant tribute to River City Ransom. And Castle Crashers is another game that's quite superb, that faithfully brings the brawlers back to life. And the only real question is, will the brawlers still continue? I say yes, because as long as somebody says Double Dragon, you're going to get one, no matter what. Well, that's it for our show tonight. Remember these rules that we learned from these brawlers. 1. The streets are never safe, and never go alone to save the city, unless you save the president with your friend, and he gives you a cheeseburger, like he does in Bad Dudes. Then that's okay. 2. Eat an apple, when in doubt. 3. When they're not looking, sneak attack with a wooden crate. This is World 94, I'm Mega Drive 20XX, and thanks again for Thravron Dave for being here.
Yo.
Keep on gaming, people, and leave feedback. We love to hear from you.